Hey listeners, welcome back to another new story with Unraveled Tales. I saw a wife sleeping with my neighbor, so I took some videos to get revenge and show his wife Liza. I hope you enjoy. Miles walked in the house at lunchtime needing to pick up his laptop charger. The one he kept at the office stopped working and there weren't any spares in the supply room. He lived 10 minutes from his office, so going home would be quicker than going to Best Buy. Cielo ish of all kiel ishes, he heard noises coming from his bedroom. The door was open so he could see inside from 3 by 4 of the way up the stairs, and he saw his wife getting ducked by what looked like his neighbor and friend, Mark. He took some video so he could show Mark's wife, Liza. Miles was a passive kind of guy, so he didn't rush in to stop them. He figured it was too late for that. The damage had been done. He turned off the video and went back down to grab his charger and get back to work. He couldn't believe she was cheating on him with their neighbor and friend. She was best friends with Liza, so the betrayal was deep. They got together every weekend for a barbecue on Saturdays and had even taken vacations together. Mark liked expensive wines but was a cheap beer guy unless they were at Miles's house. Liza, like Miles, liked better quality craft-type beers, and she liked Spotted Cow specifically, so he always had some on hand for her. He made special trips over the border to Wisconsin to get it, since you can't get it in Illinois. He always did the same for Yuengling, picking up several cases when he drove through Ohio. Miles was an unapologetic beer snob, but Tina never drank beer. She was a wine snob. Mark used to joke with him that they married the wrong girls. Each spouse had more in common with the other. Miles always laughed it off, but after seeing them having sex, wondered, was Mark trying to steal Tina away from him? Miles was an underwriter for an insurance company. He was always extremely detail-oriented and analytical. He knew he needed to plan his next moves, but he knew for sure he would have revenge on Mark, and his marriage was over. They didn't have kids, so there would be no custody issues. So they were married for only 3 years, and she worked, so alimony or maintenance wouldn't be likely. And he'd keep his 401k, and she'd keep hers, he figured. The house was his before they married, and it depreciated due to the market, so equity splitting wasn't an issue. The split should be easy. The revenge was his primary concern. Miles figured he would inflict some financial pain on his suckabag neighbor, and that would be easy. Physical pain would be harder since Mark was bigger than he was. No matter how he had do it, by the end of that week, Mark would be dealt with. It was Monday, and that was his lightest day, so he had time to plan. He did some searching online and downloaded basic divorce papers off of a legal site on the internet. He figured if she wanted to fight, they could get lawyers later. Then he went to work on his plan for revenge. The trick was going to be acting like nothing was wrong at home. Update! Miles walked in the door after work and smelled something great from the kitchen. He fought back his anger and took a deep breath. Taking his time, he walked through the house and readied himself for his necessary acting performance. "What you doing?" he shouted, startling his wife. She was standing at the sink and dropped a dish. "You scared the out of me, Miles." "You know my dad used to call that reaction a guilty conscience," he said, watching her face pale. "You didn't break anything expensive, did you?" No, just one of the cheap wine glasses. Mark brought over an expensive bottle of wine for us to enjoy." "Oh, yeah? When was Mark here?" She didn't look at him, but he could see her body stiffen. "He left just before you got home." "Okay." Mark had Miles download an app that is like a wine diary. You take a picture of the label and it will come so you can add notes about it, rate it, and keep track of it if you have a wine cellar. Miles used a similar one for beer and was proficient with it. He snapped the picture and in the app it showed that it was a $70 bottle of Cabernet Sauvignon. "Wow, that's an expensive wine. You must have done something really special to earn that." He regretted saying that immediately and figured he blew it. "Huh? No, it's for us," she said without hesitation. "Oh, okay. What are you making to serve with Mark's wine?" "Beef roast with potatoes and asparagus." "Sounds good. I'll change and be back down." Dinner was quiet until Miles drank his glass of wine down in one gulp. Tina snapped at him. "Miles, you don't chug expensive wines. That's meant to enjoy and not drink like a frat boy." He smiled internally because he knew it would piss her off. Mark turned her into a wine snob, and she even decanted the one they were drinking. He didn't understand that, but let them have their fun when they did it. He grabbed the decanter and poured a full glass for himself. That was another of her pet peeves. Miles, you know you can't enjoy the bouquet if you fill the glass like that. Laughing, he said, I have no intention of smelling the wine, dear. God, you're such an ass sometimes. You worship your fancy beers, but don't even bother to try with wine. He shrugged his shoulders and took another large gulp. She frowned and said, I'm going to CVS after dinner. Do you need anything? No, what are you getting? Lady things. Okay. He was glad she was going out. He could avoid her for only so long when she is in the house. Update. 1. Day 1. The neighborhood was quiet at 3 in the morning. Miles was up and standing in Mark's driveway looking at his boat, which he keeps parked there during the summer. It's a nice boat and has a custom cover that Mark had told Miles cost him $1,000. Miles unsnapped the cover and folded it up neatly. He poured lighter fluid on it and lit it. It was a nice fire and burned for quite a while as Miles watched it from his bedroom window. The smell started coming through his open window, so he woke Tina and told her, Baby, call Mark and tell him his boat is on fire. What? Screamed Tina as he ran out of the room. He went outside and grabbed his lawn hose and started to douse the flames. Mark came running out of the house and yelled to Miles, What's going on? Dude, I don't know. I woke up and smelled smoke. When I looked out the window, it looked like your boat was on fire, but it's only the cover. Looks like someone took it off and lit it up. Thank God they didn't burn the boat. Ducking pinks. That cover cost me $1,000. Yeah, I know. Sorry, man. No, man. Thanks for putting the fire out before it spread. By that time, both wives had come out. Miles, are you okay? Liza asked. Yeah, the hose kept me safe, he said with a smile. She smiled back and got mad when she realized what was burning. Damn it, Mark. That money pit boat of yours is going to cost us even more now. Miles knew she hated the boat. She had refused to ride in it since the day he bought it without telling her. Tina said, Will, at least it wasn't the boat. Miles turned to walk back to his house and said, Yeah, you love his boat rides, don't you, dear? Good night, all. I've got to work in the morning, and that was enough excitement for one night. Tina left for work before Miles and he took the opportunity to take a look around their bedroom. Hidden under her side of the bed was a small bag that had a box of rubbers. He put it back and came up with a plan for those. That night, he noticed Mark's vintage Mustang sitting in the driveway, and not the boat. He assumed Mark pulled the boat into the garage because it had no cover. That made him smile. As he walked into the house, he noticed voices coming from the kitchen. Liza and Tina were talking about Mark. He's really pissed about the boat cover, Liza said. He ordered some cameras to put outside. They'll be here Thursday. Does he have any idea who would do that to him? Did he pile someone off? Tina asked. He doesn't think so. He really has no clue. What sucks is we have a $1,000 deductible on the insurance. We won't get any bit of it covered. Sorry to hear that, Tina said. You better give him some lovin' tonight to cheer him up. Ha! He hasn't touched me in months. I try, but he's always tired or sleeping before I go to bed. Miles thought Tina's response was interesting. She said, Maybe you should take a lover. Liza shrieked, What? No way. I'm a married woman that took vows and believes in them. How could you suggest that? Easy, girl. It was a joke. Well, it's not funny. Cheaters are as holes. Miles walked into the kitchen and said, Hey, girls, you can stop talking about me now. I'm home. Hey, hon, dinner will be ready in 10 minutes. Okay, babe. He went up to their bedroom and opened the syringe he bought at the medical supply store. He was surprised how easy it was to get one. He opened the tube of Ben Gay, inserted the syringe, and filled it. The bag under the bed was undisturbed, so he knew they hadn't had SX that day, and for some reason, he was glad. He pulled out the rubbers and carefully punctured the wrapper with the syringe, injecting the Ben Gay. After doing it to all of the ones in the box, he put everything back as it was. He went to bed an hour earlier than usual, and Tina acted genuinely concerned. You feeling all right? Yeah, I guess I'm just tired from last night's fun. I wouldn't call Mark's boat being vandalized fun, Miles, she said with a good deal of anger. Easy, babe. It was just a figure of speech. Nice, he thought. She got mad, and he knew she wouldn't try to have SX that night. Update 2. Day 2. He stood in his living room looking out the bay window, making sure no one was out. As it was the previous night, the street was dead quiet. His plan tonight was risky because of the noise level, but he was resolved to do it. He went to his shed and grabbed the tool for that day's revenge, his axe. The Mustang was old, so it don't have an alarm. The sound of the axe hitting it would be loud, so he had to make a fast escape. He put on a pair of gloves and wiped the axe clean of fingerprints. Walking in the moonlight with a maniacal look on his face, he approached the car. Looking around and seeing nothing, he smashed the windshield, the rear window, and finally smashed the axe down into the roof of the vintage and cherry car. He took off running to his backyard, hoping no one saw him. He got some water in the kitchen and was surprised to see his wife come down the stairs. "Can't sleep, Tina?" "No, I heard some loud banging." "Wasn't me, I just needed some water." "Oh, okay. Maybe it was a dream." "Maybe. Let's get to bed." I'm the morning. Miles walked outside to get the paper and saw the police at Mark's house. They were looking at the damage done to the Mustang. "Hey, Mark," Miles called out. "What happened?" "The ducking Panks trashed my Stang man?" God, what a douchebag, he thought. Stang, ugh. "No S at," Miles said, walking over and looking at the damage. "A ducking axe? Who does that? Wouldn't a bat be easier?" The policeman said, "If it were just the windows, yeah, but the axe put a hole in the roof. Can't hammer that out. You must have really pissed someone off." Mark looked at the cop with disgust. "Duck. Mark, maybe you should install some cameras," Miles said. "I ordered them. They come tomorrow." "Good, I hope you catch the bastards." Miles had a mile-wide grin as he walked back to his house. Update 3. Day 3. Nothing happened overnight, and Mark was anxious but happy in the morning. God, babe, I'm glad the Panks left us alone last night. I hardly slept. I've walked all the way around the house and yard twice this morning. I can't wait until those cameras get here today so I can relax. I'm glad, sweetie. I've been really nervous. Yeah, me too. Hopefully it's over now. Later that day, Miles was walking to his car when he saw Liza sitting on the hood. Miles couldn't help but notice how great she looked. She was a beautiful woman, and he couldn't help but hope she'd divorce the asshole and found someone who would appreciate her. "Hey, Liza, to what do I owe the pleasure?" "I want in," she said softly. "In what?" "You know what I'm talking about. Every day this week, something bad has happened to Miles." "You know what the real surprise was?" "Nope." "I couldn't sleep the other night and was wide awake when I heard a crash of smashed glass. I got out of bed just in time to look out the window and see a person take an axe to the roof of Mark's pride and joy." Miles didn't react. He kept eye contact and waited for her to continue. "Imagine my surprise when I saw that it was you. Okay, you caught me. Pew, I still don't understand what you want in on." "Well, the way I figure it is that he did something to piss you off. So I'm thinking about it this morning, and the best I can figure is that you caught him screwing your wife." Shocked, he affirmed, "I did. I knew he was cheating on me, that ducking asshole. He's shown no interest in me for months. I never considered that it was with Tina, though. My best ducking friend. I want in on your revenge plans. I really like your idea of doing one thing each day. That's what you're doing, right? Kind of like death by 1,000 cuts." "Yeah, something like that. Just so you know, I'll be divorcing Tina. Should be fast and easy unless she fights it. If she does, I'll just send the video I took out to her email contacts." "I'd like a copy of that, please." "I'll send it to you. I was going to tell you on Saturday. I would never have kept it from you and have you live with that scumbag doing this behind your back. I care for you too much to hurt you like that." "Thank you, Miles. I care for you too and appreciate that." "Why Saturday?" "I was going to have you guys over for a barbecue and confront them. Kind of a final revenge day." "Well, I'm in now and we're going to have some fun with this. What's your next bit of fun?" "I put Bengay into their rubbers. I got a syringe and squirted some in each one. I don't know how often they do it, but I'm figuring it's more than once a week because on Mondays and Thursdays she works from home. Some kind of pilot project to test remote working capability. I would bet he's going to be at my house soon, if not already." "We could go catch them in the act?" "Oh, come on. Where's the fun in that?" "Okay, I've got an idea for our next bit of fun. Can't wait to hear it." "Come on, lover. I need that. I want it in Maya's again today. When you did it on Monday, I came like a freight train, Tina said. You got it, baby. I'm going to take real good care of you. Did you get the rubbers? Yeah. Miles got home that night and knew she'd used the rubbers. She was laying in bed with something between her legs. It looked like an ice pack. What the hell happened to you? He asked. He couldn't wait to hear her excuse. No, Asot, you missed or baited with Bengay on your hands. That's crazy. Yeah, well, it hurts and I'm off limits for a few days. That's okay. We don't have SX on Thursdays anyway. What? Think about it. When was the last time we made love on a Thursday? Come to think of it, Mondays have been pretty dry lately, too. Oh, well, strange coincidences, huh? Do you need me to get you anything? No, babe, I just want to rest here for a while. All right, I'll order a pizza. Get some rest. A few moments later, he was sitting on his deck when Liza texted him. How is she doing? Resting with an ice pack? How's a seat head? Trying to pretend nothing is wrong, but he is clearly in discomfort. His pain was probably less than hers, but he's definitely sore down there. Does she suspect you? Doesn't seem like it. They may think that the rubbers were tampered with at the store as a practical joke or something. It was a new box and none were used, so who knows? They won't want to risk outing themselves if we are acting normally. Are you all set for tomorrow? Yep, I just hope he doesn't get violent. Hey, I'm right next door. Just try to get to an open window and scream. I'll keep an ear out. Thank you, she sent with a kissy face emoji. Update. 4. Day 4. Mark was in the shower when Liza opened the door and climbed in. What are you doing, babe? I felt like being romantic this morning. We haven't fooled around in a while and I wanted to start the weekend off right. Let me wash you. He looked at her nude body and got horny. He agreed and handed her his bottle of soap. She lovingly washed his body and took a look at his genitals. There wasn't much evidence remaining from yesterday's issue, but she could tell there was some redness. She stood up and said, Ow, damn. I got some soap in my eyes. Let me rinse, please. After rinsing her face and hands, she kissed him, saying, You're all blurry and my eyes are burning something fierce. Let me wash your hair and then let's take this to the bedroom. I intend on making you late for work this morning, lover. He kissed her and rubbed his hard-on into her stomach. Then he turned around and faced the front wall. She reached for one of the bottles on the shelf and poured a large amount into her hand. She rubbed it into his scalp and massaged it in for a minute or two. He kept his hair short like a buzz cut, so she thought it would work, just like on her legs. That acid stinks, babe, and it's tingling. Is that your shampoo? Huh? It stinks. What is it? Oh, sut, she shrieked. I grabbed the wrong bottle. That's my Nair. Your what? Hair remover. Get under the water fast. He got under and started rubbing it out. It didn't work fully because it wasn't on long enough, but there were definitely some bare patches. He looked like Hellum. Sod, honey, I'm sorry. With my blurry eyes, I didn't realize I grabbed the wrong bottle. She said, trying to sound contrite. Duck, he yelled, looking at the hair on his hands. Just get out. I'll deal with this. She stepped out of the shower, dried off, and grabbed her phone. She was able to get a picture after he got out and was drying off. She texted it to Miles. Oh, honey, I'm so sorry. There's bald spots. You might have to shave your head. No, swat, Sherlock. I can't believe you did this. What a ducking week. I swear I'm not leaving the house. A ducking plane may drop from the sky on me. It was an accident as whole. You don't have to be a jerk about it. She ran from the room pretending to cry. She locked herself in her bedroom and started laughing while she got dressed. Mark tried to open the door and found it was locked. He heard her quiet laughter but mistook it as sobbing. With a knock on the door, he said, Baby, I'm sorry. I know it was an accident. Open up so I can get dressed. She opened the door and rushed past him out of the house to go to work before he caught her laughing at him. Liza met up with Miles for lunch later and laughed about the incident. It almost didn't work. Miles. He noticed the smell and tingling too fast. I held out as long as I could. Take a look. He sent me a picture after he shaved his head. It's hysterical. Laughing, Miles asked, How long does it last? Who cares? Duck him. Well, tomorrow is the big reveal. Are you ready? Yeah, but I've got some more ideas. Update 5. Day 5. Liza yelled out, "Are you ready?" Yes, don't shout. Did you make your potato salad? Of course. Good, I've got a really nice Cabernet I'll bring. Liza and Mark walked next door and rang the bell. Tina greeted them with hugs and kisses. Liza noticed how they looked at each other and thought, God, how could I not have noticed it before? After giving him a ribbing about his new hairdo, they walked to the deck where Miles was charring some animal flesh and corn on the cob. Hi guys, nice haircut, cue ball. Want a drink? Miles asked. Mark shot him a dirty look and answered, How about a couple of beers? Do you have any of that spotted cow left? Absolutely. After dinner, Liza said, Miles and I would like to have a chat about something. Miles pulled his phone out and showed the video of the adulterers in the act. Tina started crying and Mark said, Look, it's not what you think. It was only one time. We are always a bit flirty and just wanted to try each other out. It was only SX. We don't love each other. Shaking her head, Liza held up her open hand. You hit 5, thanks a lot, asshole. I owe Miles $10. What are you talking about? Cheater's handbook excuses. You rattled off 5 of them. I told Miles you would use 3 of them and we set the over/under at 4. Miles spoke up. This is how it plays out, Lex Luthor. We've both drawn up divorce papers. There's no need for lawyers. There's nothing to negotiate. We take what's ours, you take what's yours. Joint assets split up 50-50. This house was mine before we married, and there's no equity, so I'm keeping it. Your house is in the same boat, but Liza wants it. She'll refi you off of the mortgage and take over the payments on her own. I don't want a ducking divorce. I love you, Liza. It was one mistake. We can get past it. Mark yelled. Tina finally spoke. He's lying. It wasn't one time. But you knew that already, didn't you? Miles snorted and answered, I kind of figured. How long? 3 months. Tina, shut up, Mark shouted. No, I can't save my marriage by lying. There's nothing to save. Pack a bag and leave, please. If you try to fight the extremely fair settlements we offered, the video goes public. Miles, no, Tina shrieked. It's over, Liza said with tears falling. Both of you pack and leave. We can work this out, I swear. Please, baby, give us a second chance. Tina cried. We're not discussing that tonight. Maybe in a couple of days. Thank you, she said through tears. Wait a minute. All this shit that's happened to me this week was you two, wasn't it? Mark shouted. Before Miles could talk, Tina answered. No, Miles was in bed with me when the hot happened to your boat and car. It was just a strange coincidence. She winked at Miles and then stood. Please call me in a few days. I want to make things right and stay with you. Tina finished, putting her hand on his shoulder. Me too, Mark said sullenly. After more rounds of apologies, they finally left to pack bags and leave. Well, that went about how I expected, Liza said to Miles sitting on his deck. Yeah, I can't stay with a cheater, though, especially when it went on for 3 months. I know, I believe what he said about why it started. I bet they really did want to try each other out. You know how Mark always says we married the wrong spouses. Yeah, I never noticed anything unusual, though. I've been thinking a lot about that. Me too. But they do look at each other sometimes with a look. I'm not sure how to describe it. Not quite a smirk, but there was something in their eyes. I noticed it today. It is what it is. The why doesn't really matter to me. Mark is a charismatic, slick charmer. He could probably talk his way into any woman's pants. Miles, I don't want to be alone tonight. Can I stay with you? Of course. Let's go get the guest room ready. I'm kind of tired. Miles was startled awake by an arm sliding under his and a warm body molding itself into him. She sighed and nuzzled into his neck. He turned his head and said, Liza? Don't say anything. I'm not here for SX. I just want to cuddle. Okay, you're a special woman, Liza. You didn't deserve this. She cried into his shoulder and whispered, Neither did you. Miles thought he heard her whisper, I love you, as she fell asleep. Update 6. Day 6. Miles and Liza went to the Goodwill store after breakfast. They bought dozens of shirts, pants, shoes, and coats. When they got home, they put it into a pile on Miles' driveway. He grabbed his lighter fluid and lit the pile of clothes on fire. Once going, Liza recorded a brief video and sent it to Mark and Tina, with a comment stating, "Cheaters never win." Both Miles and Liza got immediate calls from their spouses. "Miles, please don't burn anymore. I know you're hurt, but this isn't helping," Tina said, clearly crying. Miles didn't say anything. He just hung up. Mark shouted at Liza so loudly Miles could hear him 5 feet away from Liza's phone. "You betch! I'm coming over right now. Quit ducking with my xit." She did the same as Miles and hung up without a word. Both cheaters pulled up at almost the same time. Miles wondered if they were together, but didn't really care. He and Liza watched from the front window of Miles' house as Tina and Mark looked at the pile of burnt clothes. Mark said something to Tina and she shook her head. He flipped off the watching couple as he walked back to his car and drove off. Tina mouthed, "I'm sorry," and drove off as well. "That was kind of fun," Liza said. "What do you have planned for tomorrow, Liza?" "That is going to be kind of complicated. It's going to be our coup de grace, though. I'm still working out in my head how to accomplish it. We'll talk about it tonight." While Mark was getting the grill ready to cook up some steaks, Liza went to her house to grab a couple of Mark's most expensive bottles of wine and whip up her potato salad. She looked around her house sadly. She and Mark had been married for 5 years, most of them good, except she wondered if he was ever faithful to her. They really didn't have much in common except SX at first. They were both adventurous and loved SX and built their relationship off of that. They got along fine and were happy mostly. She learned to enjoy wines as he did. He learned to like country music, and they both enjoyed traveling. She thought about Miles. She knew she was going to take a risk that night and seduce him. They had much more in common and got along really well. She loved him as a friend already and wanted to explore loving him as a partner. She knew she had to tread softly, so she steeled herself to not rush him. Miles greeted her with a kiss on the cheek when she got back to his house. He asked her, "Do you want to set the table? The steaks are about ready." "Yup, I got it." He watched her through the sliding door as she worked inside. She's so beautiful. How could that asshole cheat on her? He thought. "Ready, honey?" Liza called out. "Honey?" He thought. "Yep, turned out perfect. Nice and rare for you. I pretty much just seasoned it and threw it on a plate," he joked. She liked her steak just like he liked his. "Fantastic. You really know how to take care of me, don't you?" "Ha, that's easy. We like them cooked the same way." "Yeah, we do have a lot in common, don't we?" What kind of wine did Pick for us?" "Well, since we are having our first dinner together on our path to divorce, I've picked a couple of special ones. I don't know much about them, but Mark was really excited when he found them." "You know how he organizes his wine racks?" "Yep. Good. Better. Great. Well, he rearranged the great rack to put these 2 on the top shelf." "Oh man, he's going to be pized." "Don't care." He noticed she had already opened them to breathe. He wouldn't have thought of that, but he's the beer guy. He poured her a small amount and handed her the glass, pretending to be a French waiter. "Madam, would you like to taste?" "Oui, monsieur." She giggled as she took the glass and did her best impression of Mark's over-the-top way of tasting the wine. She looked at the glass from 3 different angles, swirled it, and said the bad joke of, "She's got nice legs." Then she stuck her nose in the glass and took a deep sniff. She sipped it and swished it around her mouth, finishing with the slurping, sucking of air through the wine that Mark always did. The final piece of the impression was her saying, "It'll do." They both laughed at her, mocking her soon-to-be ex-husband, and went on to enjoy the meal and the wine. While Miles and Liza were eating, Mark and Tina were having their own dinner. They were in Mark's hotel room, sitting on the couch eating pizza. "What are they planning, Mark? They were too calm last night, and then the stupid prank of making us think they burned our clothes today? I just don't get it." "Me either, but I think it all means that they won't divorce us. They didn't even get lawyers. They printed these divorce papers off of the internet. I think they are just getting their childish payback, and we'll all end up fine. I still think your husband did all that to me and my wife did the hair thing on purpose. They already knew, for Christ's sake. What if they don't take us back? What if we've ducked our marriages up? Then we give us a shot. You know how I feel about you and I know how you feel about me. We're compatible in almost every way. And we sure as hell know the SX is good." Going back to Miles and Liza is obviously our first choice, but I think we could be amazing together too. He kissed her. Is Kitty able to play? He said with a shark-toothed grin. No, but none of that acid got in my ass, lover. Make love to me, Mark. We always duck great, but right now I want you to make love to me. Show me you can love me. I thought you were still sore. If you're gentle with me, I can take it. Thank you. I had to know if we could make love as satisfying as we duck. You didn't let me down, she said, crying softly. He didn't say a word. He knew he was in love with her, and he was close to finally having her, if their spouses went ahead with divorce. He kissed her sweaty forehead and pulled her into his chest. They fell asleep in that position. After dinner, Miles and Liza sat on the couch together, but on opposite sides. She kicked off her flip-flops and smiled when she saw him look at her toes. Do you like my nails, Miles? Huh? Oh, yes, they're very pretty. I like that shade of red. Just the nails or the feet, too. You're the total package, Liza. Really from head to toe, Mark is an idiot to cheat on you. Aw, thank you, honey. Honey again. Why does she keep saying that? He thought. Miles, would you grab that other bottle? We seem to be empty. Sure, he said as he walked to the kitchen. You know, I always agreed with Mark when he spoke about us having the wrong spouses. In another world, I could see myself being with you, he said as he poured them some wine, with no flourish or show that time. They both took a large drink of their wine, and she slid closer to him. As he set down his glass, she took his hand and said, Miles, you're a wonderful man and don't deserve what happened either. We're both in the worst possible way due to our cheating other halves. You're always a perfect gentleman, but I want you to forget that you are for a moment. Well, not a moment, for tonight. Please, when we go to bed tonight, take me. Take me and make me feel like a whole woman again. I haven't been touched in so long, and I need you. Miles stood up and pulled her with him. I don't have to pretend I'm not a gentleman in order to make love with you. It's something I've fantasized about for years. Honey, let's go to bed. He lifted her up and carried her to his bedroom, with her giggling the whole way. He set her down at the foot of the bed. Are you protected? I may have some rubbers here somewhere, he said, smiling. She laughed, smacked his chest, and said, Don't you dare. I want every drop of you. I'm on the pill. I love you. I have for years. You're one of my closest friends, and after this, how can I not express that to you? It may not be complete love yet, but there's no reason to believe we couldn't get there. Oh, Miles, I feel the same way. I was so afraid to seduce you tonight. I was so afraid you didn't feel the same way. I have no intention of getting back with Mark. I'd like to see what we can build together as we move on from this. Me too. There's no reconciling in my future either. Their betrayal cut too deep. Well, I hope they're happy together, she said. Don't care. Now, what is your plan for tomorrow? Update? 7. Day 7. A group text was sent to Mark, Tina, and Miles at 7 a.m. from Liza. We're sorry about the clothes thing. It was a bad joke at a worse time. Please come to Miles' house at 7 p.m. to talk about where we go from here. Mark was Tina's as. When the text came through, since both phones dinged a notification at the same time, she reached over and grabbed her phone. Yeah, baby, duck me. Duck my aw-six. So good. Ugh! They want to, meet us at 7. They walked up to the door tentatively at 5 minutes to 7, not knowing whether they are going to continue to be married or not. Tina paused, not sure whether to open the door and go in or knock. She decided that it was still her home and unlocked the door. Pausing to take a deep breath, she turned the handle to find her fate. Oh my God, Tina screamed. Miles was standing and ducking Liza doggy style over the couch. Sorry, guys. Ugh. You're a few minutes early. You know how long he can last, right, Tina? Liza said with a smile. Tina started sobbing and ran out. Real move, guys, Mark said. We came here hoping to reconcile, and you duck with us and tear our hearts out on purpose. Welcome to the Torn Heart Club, asshole. Do you think we went too far, Miles? Not with the SX. Drinking his wine? That's over the line. Laughing, she said, Seriously, you S-eat. Honestly, yes. I burned their genitals with Bengay. Seriously, what am I 12 years old with that one? I should have just did the car. I seriously was trying to figure out a way to break all of his wine. Wow. I'm not a fighter. I'm a nerd. I could have walked into the room when I caught them and tried to kick his ass. But if he kicked mine, I'd be even more embarrassed. This passive-aggressive S-hod I've been doing is beneath me. I just didn't know what else to do. I felt like I had to do something to make him hurt. What do you see for us, Miles? I'd really like to give us a shot. I already love you, and there isn't much I don't know about you. You're beautiful, you cook great, you keep a clean house, you make good money, you'll be a great mother, and you have great feet. What did you say? What? You know I like feet. No, stupid. The mother thing. I think you'll make a great mom. Do you want kids? I'd love kids. Tina is off the pill, and we were letting whatever happens happen. I'd like kids too. Mark felt we weren't ready yet. Great. So let's take it one day at a time and enjoy the ride. Speaking of rides, let's go to bed. Update I 8. Day 8. Miles woke up in the arms of Liza. Baby, I could get used to this. Me too, honey. What are we going to do today? Go to work. I've got to keep you stocked up in fine wines. I like your fancy beers too. Yeah, but I'd have that on hand anyway. Do you think they will sign the papers? Yeah, they know they ducked up and we've moved on. Epilogue. 3 months later. Mark, I'm pregnant, Tina said over the phone. Mark stopped popping into his duck buddy and said, That's great, baby. We'll get married like we talked about. This is awesome. He resumed pupping into his companion. I'll see you when I get home. I love you. Love you too, baby, Tina said as she hung up. You're seriously going to marry her? Aaron said. Hell. Yeah, I'm going to marry her. I love her. Are you going to stop ducking me? Hell. No, we just have to keep being really careful. Are you ready, baby? Liza asked. I'm always ready, Miles answered. Let's do this then. Your Honor, we're ready. Dearly beloved, we are gathered today. And life went on. Thank you for watching. Unraveled Tales exists because of your support, so take care and see you soon with another story.